Okay, so 2024 Republican candidate Nikki Haley, she's getting a little pushback. She suggested changing the retirement age for benefits like Social Security and then limiting those benefits for wealthier Americans. But Haley says that any reforms that she's presenting now would not affect current senior citizens.
We shouldn't in any way jeopardize those that are already expecting something. It's the new ones coming in. It's those in their 20s that are coming in. You're coming to them and you're saying the game has changed. There is a spending problem in D.C., and Republicans and Democrats have done this to us.
Okay, so Niall is here from the Hill. Good to see you. Happy Friday. You know, there's this not so secret rule. You don't mess with people's Social Security. You don't talk about touching the money. But raising the age of retirement is not new. How big a deal is it for her to be talking about it now?
It is a big deal in terms of her political positioning. And I think in general in her campaign, she is trying to position herself as a teller of hard truths. The problem with that is there's political graveyards littered with people who thought that voters would respond positively to hard truths, and often they don't particularly. These proposals, which would not in this case affect people for several decades, get reduced to a headline, that headline being Nikki Haley wants to raise the age for Medicare and Social Security, and then it becomes a problem.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you brought that up, the hard truths line, because I was talking about this before the show. She's brilliant. She has the experience, the relationships. She has a fearlessness about her. But in an effort to stake her claim in this race, might she come off as too brash, especially to those who aren't really familiar with her?
It's possible that she could. It's possible that what she wants to be, an assertiveness or that willingness to engage, could come across as perhaps overly aggressive on this kind of issue. And I think that these things are problems. It's a difficult needle to thread on issues that are as sensitive as Social Security. Everyone understands there's a problem with the math when it comes to Social Security. It's a problem rooted in a great thing, which is that people are living much longer. When Social Security was set up, there were 9 million Americans 65 or older. Now there are 56 million Americans of that age group. That's a good thing. We want people to live longer and live happy lives, but obviously it mangles the math of Social Security, and that has to be dealt with in some way.
It's also sensitive because, you know, when you say to a candidate who's a woman, oh, don't come off too brash, it's like we have to use the same standard with men. It's just that people in this country sometimes oppose those harder truths. I want to get to President Biden accusing Republicans of wanting to cut the program, and former President Trump actually talking about it as well. Let's listen to that bite really quickly.
We're not going back to people that want to destroy our great Social Security system, even some in our own party. I wonder who that might be, that want to raise the minimum age of Social Security to 70, 75, or even 80 in some cases.
Okay, so we kind of know who he's talking about here. Is he continuing to give Nikki Haley a good ribbing, or is he kind of putting her in her place?
Well, he's talking about her, but he's also talking about Governor Ron DeSantis, who, while a congressman, backed a measure that would have raised the age to 70 for eligibility for those programs. I think that's really who he is alluding to there. Primarily, obviously, DeSantis expected to get into the race, joining Trump and Haley as the three major candidates.
All right, Niall, I know that when she's talking about the younger 20-somethings, Gen Zers and millennials, they don't even know if they're going to have any money left. At least a lot of them don't believe they will. So we'll see how she messages that with the younger voters. Thank you again. Have a good weekend. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.